Yep, we're doing this again. Let's just get this over with. Hello, Hisstocrats and Saxonists. My name is Hisstocrat and welcome back to my channel. Now, while Super Mario 3D World isn't in my top 3 Mario games list, I still consider it a good game, and the soundtrack amplifies the experience. While it doesn't have as many songs as in Mario Galaxy, it has way more good ones than bad ones. Now, just like my Galaxy 1 ranking, I'll be excluding filler jingles, songs under 20 seconds, and only focusing on the big tracks, the standouts of the soundtrack. So with that being said, let's get her right. This game's soundtrack has some stinkers, this one being the worst. I admit it, I got kinda worked up while talking about this one in my Big 100 video, and my feelings still stand, albeit they were a bit over-exaggerated. The boss fight still stresses me out for all 3 times you play it, the synths are annoying, the drums are headache-inducing, but the brass instruments on the bridge is the only part of the song that has softened on me over the past few months. Still though, it's not that good of a song. Reminiscent of the last one, Boom Boom's theme is a little bit better, but not by much. This Mad Lad song is less annoying, but it's still a bit irritating with the production. There's not much I can say about this one. It may be annoying, but it didn't really stick with me. Heck, I don't even remember how it goes most of the time. Moving on. Now this one, I can sort of remember for long periods of time. It's still kind of bad, but at least it's memorable with the fast pace and wild melody. Also, this is the last song here I'd consider objectively bad. There's just too many great songs here. I couldn't find many songs on the soundtrack that I just flat out don't like. This one is good, I guess, but it's just kind of boring to me. Also, it's pretty unmemorable and mediocre, but at least when I hear it I can remember the melody until, well, I stop hearing it. Did that make any sense? Probably not. Moving on. I'd say this is better than the last song because at least it gets you hyped for a good challenge. Unless you're fighting Motley Bossblob, in which case I'd say lower your expectations. Not only have I not gotten to this point in the game, but I really haven't heard the song that plays in the Captain Toad stage that much. So I'm gonna have to say it's kind of unmemorable and unengaging, so much so that I can't even listen to it all the way through. Sorry guys, but this song doesn't really do much for me. Okay, I know I said I wouldn't be including filler jingles, but this one technically runs over 20 seconds, so I have to say it's pretty okay for a filler jingle. Not much. Before you ride Plessie, this song plays and it's not that great. Certainly not as good as the song that plays when you actually ride him. Speaking of Plessie songs, I might rank Bowser's Fury soundtrack sometime later, but I actually haven't beaten that game. The only reason that this is higher than the last song is that Triple M gives me memories of playing those bonus minigames in Super Mario Galaxy 2. Other than that, the mystery houses are kind of an equivalent of those bonuses. That's it. Nothing much to say about this one. Moving on. Slightly more panic than the last one, but at least these missions last more than 10 seconds. Most of the time. These blockades may not be true levels, but at least they're fun, which is more than I can say for the mystery houses. Filler? Maybe. Emergency, but this one runs a little over 20 seconds, just like Emergency. Also, it's relatively low here because it preps you for the big Meowser fight, but also it's a tad win-worthy because solely of the opening synth. For now, enjoy this. Here's a picture of him I drew on my sketchbook on iPad. Feel free to screenshot, but do not discredit me. I don't know why they went with that naming scheme for this song, because it's just a variation on the iconic Starman theme. But then again, it's the Starman theme. What else can I say about it? I don't know if I can even say anything about this one either. It's very forgettable too. Moving on. Cop out, you say? Screw you. This one is at least more memorable than the last one. It's calming, relieving, and triumphant, rewarding you for beating an admittedly straightforward boss battle. Harkening back to the Sprixie theme, this song celebrates you rescuing all of them. No more Bowser battles to worry about from this point forward. Well, unless you decide to replay the game from the start. Admittedly, I should put this one lower on the ranking, but the levels the song plays in are at least fun enough to complete. So much so that I have to put the song on this slot. Upon completing one of the panels, you make Pixel Mario and this song plays. It's okay. It doesn't really delve into the whole classic Mario theme, but that's something reserved for something further in. Although I'm not a huge Zelda fan, listening to these soundtracks makes me feel great. Any reference to another Nintendo property in a Mario game is alright by me, and Color Pale Day Link is no exception. Other than the fact it reminds me of a Crash Bandicoot song, by far it's the most mediocre world map theme here. I can't even remember it off the top of my head most of the time, that's why it plopped its way onto this slot. Another slightly forgettable tune. Sure, it's intimidating, but it's nothing compared to later songs. Also, World Castle's theme is just a bit dissonant and, again, doesn't sit really well with me. This song plays at the beginning of the game, where you get some exposition and story, what little there is, beginning. And the part you just heard is the best part of the song. Spoilers, but not really. Another song with the Sprixie motif. Unlike the finale song, you hear this one multiple times during the game once you unlock a new world. It's kind of rewarding and you feel a bit like a champ when you do it. This song plays before you touch the flagpole after a boss battle. It's more rewarding than the last pick, but not by much. Also, I know these descriptions are getting short, but that's because the songs are pretty short. It's a typical Mega Mushroom theme. There's not much to say about it other than the fact that it's been in the series since New Super Mario Bros. DS. Another song that constantly appears in the New Super Mario Bros. Series. When it plays in this game, it's basically the same, along with the purposes of the Toad Houses, to supply you with a power-up to stock on later. It's kinda like like the last one, but at least it gets you prepped for the mystery houses. Not much to say about this one, other than it's kind of mellow and gets you ready for those admittedly optional missions. Jeez, I don't really like this one that much. That might be reason to put it lower on this ranking, but it's at least intimidating and upbeat enough to put it higher up here. The brass fanfares are by far the best part of the song, and the drums are close up there too. Other than that, This one has rushing drums and a familiar melody you'll hear a few times in the game, but it's probably the worst iteration of that melody. This version is kind of forgettable, but it's still pretty good, you gotta give it that. Whimsical and breezy, just the ways to describe this one. It's reminiscent of getting prepared for a snow day, even though this is a world that takes place in the clouds. But there's a later theme we'll get to that is more reminiscent of snow days. It kind of reminds me of a song from Mario Galaxy 2 now that I think about it. How do you make a spacey song in a Mario game that isn't Mario Galaxy? Sure, it's not relaxing, but it sounds very otherworldly, and it should belong in a Galaxy game. Unfortunately, it's stuck in 3D World. But on the plus side, it belongs here. Another world map theme that feels like something straight from Mario Galaxy. It's so calm, and the shiny production really cements that feeling. Too bad you aren't actually in space when you hear it. Unlike... Now this is more like a Galaxy song. It plays in a place that I admittedly haven't gotten to yet because I don't really complete games that much, but I really love this song. There's a melody that harkens back to the main theme, but slower. Much slower. Also, there's those woo sounds that occur in the Galaxy soundtracks, and they're kind of making me a little emotional. Let's move on. World 2 is practically identical to the World 1 theme, which is why I'm putting them both at a tie slot and playing them at the same time. Although I like World 1 better, World 2 is pretty good. Both themes are very similar, and pretty much the same, aside from World 2 having a sitar and a deserty feel. Oh, and insert Game Grumps Macho Madness joke here.
Macho Madness, ooh yeah, it's Macho Madness, ooh yeah, it's Macho fucking Madness.
With the main melody of the game in the beginning of the song, it certainly gets you ready to start it. I honestly don't have much to say about this one either. It's an okay song, but it's pretty uneventful. Okay, hear me out. There's a better version of this song later on, but for now, let's talk about the one on the soundtrack that isn't the other one. It freaking slaps! The trumpets rock, the bass rocks, the intro and melody rock. It's just great. Don't worry, I'll rank the other one pretty high. Spoilers, but not really. It's better than Fiery Finale, both in stage design and music, that's for sure. Reusing the melody again from the regular Captain Toad theme, it's spooky and kind of unsettling, but not as spooky as the later pick though. You all know, it's gonna rank pretty high. The Super Mario Bros. Brothers' underground theme is always a classic, and even with the tempo being slower, it's still a substantial piece. All I know is that it's better than the Galaxy renditions. It kind of reminds me of the new Super Mario Bros. Cave theme in a way, even though I can't remember that song's production off the top of my head. Still pretty good though. You probably already know that this song goes along with the level it belongs to, you know, with the platforms that change along to the music. I should probably rank the 3D Land soundtrack, but the beat block theme from that game is not as good as the one from 3D World. Other than that, beat block Skyway is pretty solid, you know, for a Mario song. The Japanese dojo theme of this level and the song really makes you feel like a platforming genius. The gamepad on the Wii U version makes this stage literally hands-on, and even if you play it on the Switch, it still feels pretty stage interactive. Oh, and the song's pretty good too. Have to mention that. Let's face it, even the fire and lava levels in this game are fun, especially with this theme playing in the background. It's urgent and it makes you want to speed through the levels it inhabits, especially the Red Hot run. You know, except for the levels that shorten the time to 30 seconds, this fits in all the levels it plays in. Well, it certainly feels like a desert theme more than World 2's map song. Fitting, because this level is the first one you see in World 2. Countdoors plague the stage and try to peck the power-ups out of you, so you gotta dodge them while this mysteriously upbeat theme is bouncing around in the background. Seriously, for an early on level theme, this song is pretty freaking great. Harkening back to the 3D Land Bowser level theme, the 3D World variant is slightly better by a mile. These levels before the boss battles are very solid levels, and this theme cements it. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's all I gotta say about these songs. They fit with their levels, and they're awesome songs. While not as good as Rosalina's theme and motif, which appears note for note in World Crown coincidentally, this theme is so twinkly and majestic, and it describes the Sprixies pretty darn well. While it may be a rarely occurring 3D World song, it's still pretty good, I gotta admit it. Already getting NSMB vibes from that backing choir. Seriously, this song reminds me too much of a 2D Mario game, and trust me when I say that is a good thing. That ominous vibe with a tinge of upbeatness really makes the levels it appears in. Also, the levels of Poison Swamps really keep you on your toes along with the background music. With a jazzy groove and adrenaline-filled rush, this very fast and panicked song is amazing, and it also keeps you on your toes like Fort Fire Brothers and Piranha Creek for free. Only better by a margin. A brass instrument-filled marching track is perfect for a pre-boss level. Now, this kind of song fits with a bullet bill train level, but not by that much. Now, that doesn't mean this one is bad, just not very fitting, but I digress. The track is very intimidating and gets you ready to fight any boss that comes in your path. Unfortunately, those bosses are Boom Boom and Pom Pom, I think. I haven't played the game in a long time. Now this is a song that fits in a bullet bill-centric level. With the horns and trumpets fitting more than they should, the harp glissandos making this song very, very ominous, and the oboes and flutes Adding a touch of levity to a pre-boss stage, this song is pretty solid. The melody is good, albeit slightly tricky to remember on the spot, and that's what keeps it from getting any higher here. Give Brigade some credit, at least I can remember that one off the top of my head. This is more epic than the last two songs, which is fair, because we're at a Bowser level now, and this is when the game gets more and more, I don't want to say hard, but I'd probably say a bit steep. But back to the song. At the first phase of this level, the song begins its course with that sweet guitar slide and equally as good riffs, mixing with the trumpets and other brass instruments, altogether making this song a total and complete masterpiece. And keep in mind, guys, we're only at number 24! It just gets better from here on out. Shortly after Bowser becomes Meowser, the hi-hat kicks in and we get another epic guitar slide. And then the climb begins. Here's when the game gets climactic. As the final battle progresses, you get major to minor key shifts, strings mixing with the brass, accentuating woodwinds, and a pounding snare to back it up. The final melody repeats until you get the final block hit at the POW block, which is what you need to defeat Meowser and his clones. And then... see entry number 59. Reminiscent of 3D Land, but a remake of the Super Mario Bros. Theme with a touch of Galaxy sprinkled into the bass line. This song is truly catchy, and I'm not quite surprised that it was in levels like the bonus clouds and, again, Rainbow Run. In fact, it definitely fits with those levels. The Super Mario Bros. Theme is an all-time classic, and it will remain one far into the future. And speaking of classics, here's a remake of the slider theme from Mario 64, with slight amendments, of course. The instrumentation is different from the Galaxy 2 variant, with some slightly rhythmic and melodic elements changed, such as in the beginning part where the eighth notes are changed to syncopated eighths. That's a pretty clever change, wouldn't you think? Prior to Odyssey, this is the best ice/snow level theme, but the Odyssey one is another song for another video. Seriously though, Snowball Park is so happy and bouncy, it reminds me too much of my childhood snow days. While I mostly associated those days with Freezy Flake from Mario Galaxy 2, this song belongs more in a 3D-ish Mario game than it does in a 3D open world styled game like 64, Galaxy, or Odyssey. If I ever do a top 10 or 20 underrated Mario songs, this song is definitely going to be on that list. I've never heard anyone talk about this one, and I don't know why. Sure, it plays post-game, the levels of this world and the other world are just rehashes, but the theme for it's still pretty good. It even varies between the two worlds. You can't get a better secret song in this game! Is this just Gusty Garden Galaxy again? Yes. Is it a better rendition of the song? No. Is it still good? For sure. Refer to my Mario Galaxy ranking video to hear my thoughts about the original, but for this variation, it's got an extra drum beat, more upbeat production elements, but again, it's not better than the original. But still pretty freaking good. Now, this is a unique level with a unique theme. With motifs from the Captain Toad level theme, the level has you doing various circus spectacle related things, and that really fits with the song. It's certainly a much better circus themed song than a Blobby boss battle theme, if you know what I mean. 2 World Star, it's relaxing and reminiscent of Mario Galaxy's OST. With the sliding synth and cosmic xylophones, it really fits the theme of space. It may fit better in a Galaxy game than in 3D World in my opinion, but at least the level is moderately tricky. Soundtrack listing having both the above ground and underwater versions, they're both pretty awesome. The underwater version in particular being the better one. Both are relaxing and upbeat, kind of like you're actually frolicking on the beach and then going for a swim in the water. That is, if there aren't any floating Goombas and inner tubes in the way. Some of the best songs in the game is a really fabulous and jazzy way to close this game off after the final boss. Fittingly, it has its rightful place in the jazz genre with the blaring trumpets and soulful sax. It sounds perfectly at home in a big band concert, alongside a quarter of the entire game's soundtrack. Ghostly Galaxy could be topped, but this song proves me dead wrong. You get it? The Haunted Mansion feel with the haunting violins and the wailing synths is more melodic than Big Boo's Haunt, but it's not a throwback to the aforementioned waltz like in 3D Land, and it's probably among one of the best ghost level themes in a mainline Mario game, next to the one from Super Mario World. Wow, where do I start? First of all, Sprawling Savannah is the theme that starts the just plain perfect section of this ranking. The melody on the pan flute is heavenly, and it kind of makes me want to go exploring the wild terrains. The ha vocals kind of give up an NSMB vibe like Piranha Creeper Creek, only better and more upbeat and in a major key. But the main reason I love it so much is that it just fits with the Savannah it's named after so well. Automatically, it's better than the Mario Galaxy version because the loop of this one lasts more than 20 seconds and even more importantly, has an extended melody that fits with a puzzle level. And unlike the previous 2 Captain Toad songs mentioned, Goes Forth is exponentially better because of those reasons. Mario 3D Land had a good main theme as one of the best 3DS games, but 3D World brought the song back, basically because the Wii U game is a better version of the 3DS launch title. Super Blockland is kind of a throwback theme, but it makes no sense because 3D Land was released a few years before 3D World, but I digress. The song is just better than the 3DS rendition, okay? Leave me alone. It's a freaking Super Mario Kart throwback. The iconic circuit theme, recreated in 3D World, is nothing short of magical. The production is automatically better than the SNES one, solely because of the better instrumentation. Not to diss the older rendition, it's still good. 3D World Recreation is even better. The only downside I can think of is the game should have had more Mario Kart-inspired levels. I'm not copying Nathaniel Bandy, I swear I'm not copying. Now this is a boss theme. The epic guitars, the jazzy brass instruments, the accentuated background notes, everything about this song is awesome. This plays in 2 boss fights against Bowser and his Pimpmobile. The boss fight in World 1 might be easy, but the song really cements its place in the Nintendo Hall of Fame in the World Castle boss. That had nothing to do with the song, but I don't even give a crap. Highway Showdown is just plain great. for a 3D-ish Mario entry. Since there are only 2 of which, 3D Land is the only one it can compete with, and Super Bell Hill has a better theme than the 3DS game's first level theme. With its iconic repeating motifs and upbeat production, it's a sweet first impression of the game. And it's always important to make a good first impression, you know? I was conflicted whether to put the athletic theme above or below the last entry because I think they're equally awesome. In the end, I had to put this above Super Bell Hill because it's an athletic theme. In most Mario games, athletic themes are almost always better than the main themes, and 3D World is no exception. And it especially fits in Chain Link Charge. That's the best athletic level in this game. Out of the last 2 I mentioned, being Super Bell Hill, Athletic, and this one, this Double Cherry Pass is by far the best main theme in the game. It's cute, it's upbeat, it's pretty zany. In fact, if I could pick one theme to represent a power-up as crazy as the Double Cherry, it would have to be this one. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Isn't this just Super Bell Hill again? And you're right. But with this being a bonus track and pretty minor, is this better than Super Bell Hill for one reason? Closure. Oh, and the musical intro in-game that you've heard, but whatever. I love this one. Game themes normally don't have natural conclusions, so it's always a plus to hear them in the official soundtracks. That such a tiny blip in this soundtrack, and the game in general, would rank so high on a list like this. But here we are. As a throwback to Super Mario Bros. 2, a game rarely acknowledged by Nintendo, it's a flawless recreation of the character selection menu of that game. I think it should be in another 3D-ish Mario game if they ever get around to making one. Also, closure is always a plus, like I mentioned in the last entry, and boy oh boy does this song have one heck of an ending. Holy crap! The jazziness is off the charts. Everything about this song is jazz perfection. I have no idea how many times I've listened to the song and bopped around to it, but I wouldn't be lying if I said I never got tired of it. Some fans would argue that it should be lower on this list because of the oversaturation and overplay, but to that I say, you're dead wrong. I mean, just listen to it! Now, number 1. What in the freaking heck else would it be? This is the best world map in any Mario game, and that includes the ones in Mario World and Mario Bros. 3. The pizzazz goes through the stratosphere in World Bowser, and you cannot help but love it. Be this your first time or your 300th time hearing it, even someone who's never played a Mario game in their life can tell you it's totally flawless. And it is by far my favorite song in Super Mario 3D World. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was taking me for freaking ever to make this video, just like the Galaxy ranking video, but it's all gonna be worth it once I get the views. And until next time, I already said this, but thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, hit the bell to stay updated, check out my other games, follow me on all my social medias, and remember, when opportunity comes knocking 4 times, you know what to do. Take care. Bye.